Hello and good morning, everybody. Yes, we are live. And just to let you know, if you're watching on playback, if it isn't Friday, 11 o'clock in the morning, Friday, the 22nd of November, you are watching on playback. So, what we're going to do, we're going to give everybody who's watching live a chance to get into the show before we go through the deals. So, I would like to, first of all, I'm so proud and so happy to welcome Chris from Wendy Rue Tours back onto our live show. Chris, welcome.
Thanks, Pete. Welcome. It's great to be back and see all the lovely customers looking to go away with us. That'd be absolutely phenomenal.
Can't wait to talk about this incredible tour and this incredible deal. Speaking of the deals here, we have to welcome, of course, the one and only Daryl from the Solo Holiday Forum by Passion for Cruises. Welcome, Daryl.
Good morning, Peter. Good morning, Chris. Thank you for having me again. It's a beautiful morning in our Cardiff, or just outside our Cardiff HQ. So yeah, chuffed to be here and really excited to talk about the offer today, because it's one of those places that's on a lot of people's bucket list, but also it's got so much to offer. Our members. So we're really looking forward to Chris bringing it to life. And as I've mentioned to you recently, Peter, just catching up with you, what we want to do at Passion for Cruises, if we haven't been to a destination, we don't want to just try and sell it, because that's not our style. We want experts to come on. And like you say, we have Chris from Wendy Rue here today, and that's a great thing at Passion for Cruises at the moment, and Cartwright Travel. We've got so many great tour operators we work with and we work alongside, and we've got so many experts. And like you say, having Chris here today to talk about it is really kind of him to do that. And just to let everybody know who is watching, it's actually Chris's day off today, and he's specially come on for us just to help us out and bring this deal to life.
Yeah, live from Vietnam by the looks of it, Chris. How
If
great
only
is
I
that?
was, Pete. If only I was. I'm away next week, but yeah, hopefully I'll be in Vietnam again soon.
Wonderful technology. So if you are watching live and you want to ask Chris or Daryl any questions, this is a great opportunity to ask a question about what we're doing. If you just want to say hello and say hi, let us know you're there as well. That's always wonderful as well, whatever you want to do. So Daryl, we have this incredible offer. So please give us a talk about it. And then obviously talk about Wendy Rue Tours as well before we actually hit the deal.
Yeah,
Cool.
so basically what we're doing, we're bringing to life Wendy Wu's Vietnam at a Glance. This is a tour going in February 2026. And with this, we've got basically, it's solo exclusive. But the most important thing, Peter, is the exclusive offer we've got at the moment. This tour is actually under £3,000 for 2026. It's hitting all the highlights in these destinations. You're getting loads of meals included, and yeah, like you say, for the price of 2,999. Once Chris goes through with it, all the aspects of the trip with you, you're really going to see it's got 4-star hotels throughout your stay. Like you say, it's a maximum group size of 18. So yeah, and yet again, it's with Wendy Wu tours. And what Wendy Wu tours are really good for is their local guides and their tour managers. So you are really going to be in great hands. You're going on a great tour, and like I say, you can see all the inclusions. So can you put the inclusions up for us, Pete, so we can just give you a little bit of indication of what's to come?
Yeah, so what we do basically, it's the Vietnam at Glance solo exclusive. That's really important. Solo exclusive, Wendy Rue Escorted Tour departing this 2026. We'll give you the date in a second. That shows you that wonderful, wonderful Vietnam. This is the itinerary, Daryl.
Yeah, so like you say, Peter, if you look at it, 11-night tour going on the 24th of February 2026. So a great time to go. Just first and foremost, you can get through Christmas. You have January, which can be dark, gloomy, and wet. And then, come February, you've got this great trip. And then once you get back in the beginning of March, it's the start of spring. And like you say, you've got the UK summer to look forward to if you haven't booked a cruise or another holiday through us already. But yeah, like you say, that particular tour, if you look at it, if you could just bring up the highlights again for me, please, is you're covering all the main parts as well. So all the highlights of Vietnam. So obviously Saigon, Halong Bay, Hanoi. So you're getting so much included. And like you say, Chris will go through it in more detail in a few seconds. But yeah, what an excellent tour to have on offer, and an exclusive price of $2,999.
So this is the exclusive deal you talked about, Daryl.
Yeah. So
and then
yeah,
we talk about Wendy Wu.
Yeah. So just quickly, and Chris will obviously emphasize on this in more detail, but touring with guides and entry fees are included in this price. International flights and current taxes. So if you book today, Peter, you're securing it at that price there. It's going in 2026. So even if the flights go up significantly in the next 6, 7, 8 months, that price is locked in. So it is a fabulous price, and it's only a deposit of £350. Wow. So if anybody does want to book today, they can secure their place for a deposit of £350, and the balance isn't due until 12 weeks before departure. Okay.
And it's the 24th of February 2026.
Yep. And then the big thing for you as well, Peter, you just had it up there, is how many meals are included. So it literally, when you actually look at it from a touring perspective, includes 29 meals. So actually, the customers don't have to worry about looking for meals whilst they're out and about, because they're all included. So that's additional costs that they usually have to factor in. On this tour, they don't.
Yeah. And so, Chris, please tell us about Wendy Wu, first of all, about your wonderful tour company, and then we'll go through exactly more about the information about this particular incredible hosted tour.
Absolutely, Peter. I mean, Daryl's done a great job of kind of introducing us to what we got in there. So there's not really much more for me to say, But no, I mean, Wendy Wu Tours, we are the UK's #1 Asia specialist. And we don't take that lightly. We've been going in business for the last 28 years now. Wendy Wu is a real person. She's not a pseudonym or anything like that. So Wendy started the business 28 years ago over in Australia, believe it or not. So she started off in China, born in Tibet. And she kind of always wanted to do travel, but she never really was allowed to. From a strict Chinese family, she had to make sure she was going into the sciences, going to be a doctor or an engineer or something like that. So Wendy's actually a qualified petrochemist, would you believe? So totally different from travel. She then decided she wanted to do a bit of traveling. So at the time, went over to Australia and decided to do a tour back in China with her partner at the time. Now, just before she was due to go, after everything had been planned, her partner decided that he couldn't go because he got a better job offer. So Wendy wasn't the best impressed, as you can imagine. But as Wendy's super resilient, an amazing woman, she decided she was going to put an advert in a local paper for people that are watching that may have been after the internet wasn't around at that time, so it was all done by paper and advertising in windows and things like that. So she put an advert in the local paper, got loads and loads of interest, and then kind of went and did a tour with a couple of other people. And then when she came back, she decided, well, actually, this is kind of really, really cool. So this is what she started doing. So she approached a travel agent, and that's how Wendy Wu Tours was born. And over the years, we've basically grown because we have word of mouth. So people have traveled time and time again with Wendy. And it was like, right, well, we've done China now. That was the original place. Where can we go? And this is how Asia became kind of the key areas: Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, Japan, and then moved across the world. So it's kind of grown just through word of mouth. And obviously, as we've got bigger, more and more people are kind of working with us. Obviously, we work very, very closely with Passion for Cruises, one of our biggest suppliers and partners, really. And we do like to call it a partnership because that is exactly what it is, rather than just them selling our tours. But why Wendy Wu? Obviously, there's lots of different companies you can choose for. So why Wendy Wu? Wendy Wu, we're one of the only companies that are fully inclusive. So like Daryl has already said, everything, when I say everything is included, it practically is everything. So looking at all those inclusions, all your guiding fees, all your entrance fees. So that means all your temples, your shrines, all included. You don't have to worry about little things like that. And this is where costs add up on other tours, where you have to pay for like entrance fees and things like that. Now, also you've got all your meals. Big one that Daryl said there. So all your meals are included. So breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Now, breakfasts are generally served in your hotels because it's easier just to have breakfast in the hotel before we go out. But lunches and dinners, Wendy's very much about making sure that you still eat authentic. So you eat like one of the locals. So we do take you to restaurants, local restaurants that have been sourced. So you get to eat the authentic food. Now, in places like Vietnam and Cambodia, China, Japan, just because something looks like a chicken and it smells like a chicken doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a chicken. So this is why it's so good to have your guides on hand. And like Daryl's already mentioned, all of our guides are local to the destination. Two of these reasons for first one is that, if you've got a guide from a destination, they know exactly what's going on the ground. They've lived it, they've experienced it, and who better to give you their information than someone's actually gone through everything they're talking about. And secondly, they've chosen this profession because they love their country that much. So they want to show it off. So why would you not want someone who's that passionate about their country to show it off? Now, we do put a lot of emphasis on our guides because we know they make or break a touring holiday. Now, one of the key things for us is all of our guides have got a minimum of 5 years experience. We don't take on anyone less than that. They're all fluent in English. I always say if they can tell a joke in English, they've got pretty good grasp of the language. So that's a key thing for us as well. So they're just kind of a few of the little things. We also include all the visas. So if you need a visa for the destination, we include it, and we actually take care of the visa for you. So that's a big thing. That's a big worry that a lot of people have when you go into a destination. If the visa's been filled out correctly, am I going to get turned away at the airport? I know for me, whenever I travel, if I've got to get a visa, I'm always panicking, thinking, have I done it right, just in case. So we take the pressure off of that. On average, our customers spend probably 10 euros a day, 15 euros a day, and that's literally just on souvenirs and drinks.
Wow.
Obviously, if you drink a little bit more, then obviously it might be a little bit more expensive, but on average, about 10 euros. So like I say, everything's included, which is key for us as a tour operator.
Which is amazing. And what we do, if you're just joining us, we're going to go through, this is the incredible itinerary that Chris is talking about. This is the wonderful map that shows you. But more importantly, Chris, you've given us an incredible deal with this.
Yeah, I mean, less than 3,000 for 12 nights. That includes all your flights, all your transfers, absolutely everything. And like I say, because we're fully inclusive, there are no hidden extras, and I think that is one of the key things for us. On top of that, because it's one of our solo exclusives, the maximum group size is only 18 people, and everyone on that tour is a solo traveller.
18 people maximum. That's incredible, folks. That is the number to call. It's an incredible offer from Wendy Wu, PFC TV. That's the number to call: 029 2061 9961. They've got the solo holiday form. There's more information on the solo holiday form on Facebook as well, and on our website. Absolutely incredible. It really is, guys. Absolutely amazing deal. If you are watching live, by the way, and you want to say hello, please say hello in comments. Please ask Chris any questions that we have. What we're going to do, we're going to talk about this a little bit more in detail, Chris, Daryl, about what to expect. I mean, that's basically an overview of what we talked about. And on this particular one, you said the maximum group size is 18, which is amazing.
That's right, Pete, because it's one of our dedicated solo tours. But what it also means is because it's one of our dedicated solo tours, we also give you lounge passes for the UK airport side. And also you get a welcome drinks reception once you arrive as well as part of our solo
that's
tours.
Massive. So we've just had a big group go out to India, and literally they said the best thing about it was doing the airport lounge before they even flew, because they got to know each other. So just little things like that, the attention to detail within this holiday is incredible. And for our solo guests, if they're ever kind of trying to overcome the traveling on their own, this is a great start, because actually as soon as you get to, and Heathrow can be daunting. I'm only in my early 40s, but it can be daunting. So you imagine, like you say, if you're a bit older and you're not sure, then that's straight away a great start. And also what I love about these tours is for people who want to do these bucket list places like Vietnam, is actually safety in numbers. You're traveling with a like-minded group. You're having local guides. And yet again, just using my experience recently, when I went away, my local guide was, or my tour manager was from the area. And like you say, the passion for their country was spectacular. So like you say, if you're getting the same experience that I had or better, then you know you're going to have one hell of a holiday.
And I noticed, Chris, it says physical rating 1, walking some steps on time on your feet. Can you explain that, please, Chris?
Yeah, so physical rating. So basically, what we try and say, if physical rating of 1, it means as long as you can get up in the morning, touch your toes, and tie your shoelaces, you should be absolutely fine for this tour. So, Pete, you're all good.
I'm good to go.
You're
I don't know.
absolutely.
I played football last night, so I'm not sure I would. I quite get on it.
I wish I could still do that, basically. So what we're doing is, he said, please ask us any questions. So, Chris, we're going to talk about the tour highlights, basically, and we're going to go through the information as well. This
Absolutely.
is also this is an example of some of the potential hotels that you do as well, Chris, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, the hotels we do use a whole range of hotels, but one of the key things about the hotels we use, they're all handpicked to ensure that they're in amazing locations. Some people say, why do we only use 4-star and not 5-star and things like that? And it is due down to location. It is a case of when you come out your hotel, you're in the heart of everywhere. You can make your way out and you can go off and do things. We could start picking 5-star hotels, putting you in the middle of nowhere, but you could be anywhere in the world then. So we want to make sure that we as Darryl said, attention to detail is huge for us. We want to make sure that every kind of eventuality we've thought of to make it as easy and stress-free as possible for your customers. So yeah, but the hotels all have a very, very good standard throughout. I mean, there's hotels I've stayed in before, which are even 3-star hotels, for example, and people kind of wonder why. But I mean, I've been in hotels where a robot has brought my room service to my room on a 3-star. So, you know, it just goes to show it might just mean it's not a facility like a spa or something like that. But if you're on a touring holiday, you're not there to use the spa. You're there to enjoy the destination.
I mean, this is the experiences that we're talking about, potentially the experiences. We're going to go to day-by-day information so you can go through that. And again, please ask Chris any questions. It looks absolutely amazing. The tour highlights Saigon, Hue, Hanoi, Halong Bay. So, Chris, please talk us through the daily ones, basically.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the first day we fly into Saigon, depending on what time your flight is, you arrive. You may get some time in the afternoon just to relax and chill out. I generally would say, depending on what date the tours are going, you may want to add a pre-night on just to give yourself that little bit of time to get over the jet lag before the tour starts. But again, that is a personal choice. Obviously, Passion for Cruises can sort it out for you as well. And if, like I say, if you are flying out a little bit before, our guides will still meet you. So don't worry that you're going to get there the day before and you're not going to be met by anyone. Our guides will certainly still meet you. And that applies obviously also to if you stay on at the end. But yeah, so you do get some free time on that first day, depending on what time you arrive.
Great opportunity to do that. I really like that idea.
Yeah, and just before you move on, that's a really good point that Chris has just made. Sorry, Peter and Chris. So with Wendy Woo, one of the things we get asked a lot is, can I extend my holiday pre or post stay? A lot of the companies we work with is pretty much a computer says no. Wendy Woo, we can do that. So just bear that in mind. Anybody who thinks, actually, I love the look of this tour, but I want to stay a bit longer at the end, or vice versa, I want to get out there at a bit earlier at the beginning, then please do give us a shout because we can get those costings.
And just add on to that as well, Dale, you can also do stopovers. So, for example, it's quite a long flight over to Vietnam. So you could potentially do, if you were to fly with someone like Singapore, you can do a stopover in Singapore. The stop actually costs you no more. Obviously, the hotels when you're there do, but the stop itself, you can stop over, jump off for a couple of days if you want to do a bit of exploring, and then carry on with your flight on a couple of days later, and vice versa. You can do it on the way back as well.
I think that's a wonderful idea. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and Pete, just to emphasize on that, so everybody knows, anybody who were to book today, we would book the standard tour as the price is, so they lock in at that 2,999. However, if they do want to extend pre-post or do go via Singapore, then we'll be able to do that when it comes into date range. Is that correct, Chris? Yeah. So that would be about 10 months before. So just so everybody knows, okay?
That's a wonderful opportunity, folks. You're locking in this incredible deal with the option of extending it as well. What a wonderful option. I think that's a great idea, guys. And you're right, not everybody does that. You have to fly out a certain day and you go, I wish I could extend it a little bit more. So let's carry on, Chris. Day 3.
Oh, yeah. So day 3. So, yeah, so you get to spend the day in Saigon. Now, Saigon is a very, very cool, the old Ho Chi Minh, very, very cool city. You've got there's about probably 5 or 6 parts to Saigon or Ho Chi Minh, however you want to call it. You've got the old quarter, the new quarter. You've got the financial district where you'll find the Sky Deck, which is one of the tallest building in in Vietnam. Very kind of certain parts of it, very, very busy, super busy. Now, if you've seen kind of the bikes, you've probably seen videos on YouTube, or if you've actually been there, you'll see the bike. The roads are the busiest roads I've ever seen. And now in Ho Chi Minh, they say you just walk out in the middle of the road, and I'm kind of like a bit skeptical about that. But apparently, you when you do, you just kind of step across the road, and the bikes just kind of swerve around you. But you just have to keep walking. You can't stop because then the bikes won't know where you're going. If you just keep walking, all the bikes just go around you. It's the most unbelievable thing. The best way I can describe kind of Ho Chi Minh City, the roads there. If you were to, on the old TVs, do you remember when you used to get a bad channel and it'd be black and white, just scrambling all over? Yes, that's what I can look, bird's eye view. That's what the roads look like in Ho Chi Minh. That's the best way I can describe it.
Organized chaos.
And organized chaos, absolutely.
Yeah. I remember black and white TV, Chris. So
I won't go back that far, but you know, I can remember when you used to have to change a channel with you have to go and actually change a channel. You use a stick to hit the button on the TV rather than actually a remote control.
Yeah, and you're holding the aerial. Yeah, we've all done that.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've all done that. Yeah.
But yeah, Saigon, fantastic place, full of history. When we're there, you are going to see the War Remnants Museum. It's had 3 different names in the past. The first 2 names weren't so great, but now it's now called the War Remnants Museum, and it will take you through kind of all the different tanks, planes, weaponry. The way the Viet Cong kind of fought is actually a very, very interesting museum to go and see. Even if you're not really interested in kind of the war and war machines, it is really, really cool to go and actually see it.
Sorry, Chris, one of our customers just come back from there, and they were telling me about the war memorial, and they actually said that obviously growing up in the Western world, all we've ever heard is about the Vietnam War from the American side. We've never actually seen it from their side, and she said that was a bit that literally blew her mind, like how many lives were lost, etc. But yeah, really fascinating.
It is very, very harrowing when you look at it and when you actually read the figures. But again, like Darryl just said, it is very too much a two-sided story, but you only hear from the bigger side that kind of all.
So yeah,
but we also go to the Coochie tunnels, which are phenomenal. Now, if you are claustrophobic, this is not a place I would recommend you go into. They have opened them up a little bit more, but they are still quite tight. But you do get the option to kind of go through the tunnel and see what it was actually like. Now, I'm a bit of a wider lad, so I kind of looked at the gap and I was like, don't think I'm going to jump down there, because the last thing I want to do is be on the front of a travel magazine. BDM from Wendy Woo gets stuck in hole would be the caption I can imagine on the front. But they have opened it up so you can see exactly what goes on in the Coochie tunnels. And it is so fascinating. And it really does talk about guerrilla warfare. It can be quite graphic, certain parts of it, because they show you some of the absolutely awful torture ways that they actually used to run in the tunnels. So things like they would wait for the Americans to go into the tunnel, and as they put their head through, they were waiting on the top of it, or they would have like chambers that had bamboo at the bottom of it and the top. So as you went, you slid down. Very, very harrowing, but very, very interesting to see. So
that's just the start. And then day 4, we got the Mekong Delta.
So day 4, So day 4, we head over to the Mekong Delta. So what we do is on this day we go we go to Ban Tre. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I kind of get it wrong. Ben Tre. So Ben Tre is a lovely little place where you're going to see lots of farming towns. So it's a farming town. You'll get to taste some of the fruits. You get to taste some of the local honeys. But then you'll basically then go down the Mekong, so on the little power boats. But as you're going down there, you've got all like the water lilies on as you're going through. You've got all the palm reeds going up, and it's just a very tranquil journey through on the Mekong Delta. They call it the Rice Bowl of Vietnam, and they reckon a lot of the produce from there is enough to feed the rest of the country. So it's absolutely impressive. It's so impressive.
Absolutely stunning. And day 5 is historic Hoi An.
So Hoi An is like stepping back in time. So Hoi An is pretty much untouched by tourism. When you're going through there, you've got all the little lanterns going over. Hoi An is great for souvenir shopping. So if you've got souvenirs you need to buy, this is the place to go and get them. It is one tip for yourselves when your customers are there or when you decide to go. In Hoi An, in the evening, they have like a lantern festival every night. So go down to the canal and you can see all the lanterns lit up as you're going through.
Wow.
100% recommend. Really, really good. And like I say, because it's the UNESCO heritage site as well, it's untouched by tourism.
Yeah,
it's one of the old ports moving up into where we go next, which is Hoi An Da Nang.
Yeah. So, wow. So day 6, Chris.
So day 6, so we go day 6 and kind of going into 7. So also in Trang Quay, you're going to go to the vegetable gardens. So this is like one of the key areas for farming in Vietnam. So we're going to take it with us. We'll go to the farms. We'll get to see how the farming is done and how the food kind of goes from farm to plate. You'll get to experience picking some of that farming goods. And also then get to do a cooking demonstration. So using the produce that we've picked, and the secret, which they will tell you, to why there's such a good growth over there, is because they have this seaweed that fertilizes the ground, and it all comes from the local lagoons.
Wow. That's incredible. And day 6 goes into day 7. You were talking about
day 6, yeah, day 6, 7. So you got Hue. Now this is kind of the old city. So you've got the Forbidden City, the Purple City, which is an architectural marvel. It's beautiful, it's stunning. So it's very much going back in time, and that's what it's like when you're walking around. You've got the Imperial Citadel, and then you've got the Thien. I think it's called the Thien Mu Pagoda. I apologize if I've murdered that word, but it's the Thien Mu Pagoda, which dates back to kind of, I think, 1561. 1500s.
Wow.
So again, you can see there's so much history in Hue, and obviously you go through Da Nang when you go into that area. Now Da Nang is the old fishing port, and again, it's all on stilts. It's very, very much untouched by tourism. So going back again in time. So if you imagine kind of Vietnam as Thailand, it's like 10, 15 years ago. Wow. So it's still kind of built its way. But yeah, Hue, Hoi An and Da Nang are 3 kind of key places. Yeah. And a lot of tours don't actually go there as well. So it's good to see them that we go there.
Fantastic. And talking of history, you're talking about the royal tombs on day 8 and you fly to Hanoi.
Yeah, so we go into Hanoi, you get to see the Royal Tombs, Presidential Palace, you go into Ba Dinh Square. Now, again, it's a little bit quieter here than it was over in Ho Chi Minh, but you still get all the hustle and bustle that you would expect from anywhere in Vietnam. Now, when you're in Hanoi as well, you get to go on a cyclo tour. So if you've ever seen the rickshaws in London, that's exactly what you're going to be going on. So you get to spend a day exploring. So this is where you get to relax and let someone else kind of take you around the city. You also then get to try the traditional egg coffee. Egg coffee in Vietnam is basically like a real frothy coffee made with egg whites, but then just to top it off, they put a load of rum in it as well. So
sounds terrible.
Do you know what? It sounds awful, but it's actually quite nice. I didn't think I'd like it. It's actually the egg whites make it really, really creamy, and they froth it all up. So it's a bit like eggnog. So if you don't like eggnog,
that's what I was thinking.
You're not going to like. You won't really like the egg coffee. But yeah, it's different. Let's say that. There are a couple of places in London actually you can get it. So if you're in London, I'll take you to an egg coffee place. So
egg, I like that.
So you can try it.
I'm in at this time in the morning.
Egg coffee.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Exactly.
With a touch of rum, Critch. Yeah.
When I say a touch of rum, it's like we were saying earlier about in Gran Canaria when they kind of just put a little drop of rum, and it's like that much rum and about that much mixer.
Hand pouring, basically. Yeah. So absolutely fantastic. And explore Hanoi. Yeah.
And then exploring Hanoi, yeah. So that's kind of how we're doing it all on. I mean, like I say, you've got the pagoda, so 1 pillar pagoda. You get to see the humble house on stilts. So it's stepping back in time, very, very different to anywhere else you'll go in the world.
Fantastic, amazing. That egg coffee sounds amazing. Day 10,
and then this is the pinnacle of any tour to Vietnam wouldn't be a tour unless you go to Ha Long Bay. Now, Ha Long Bay is a group of islands, but everyone sees, when you look at these photos, everyone kind of sees this cluster of 5 5 islands, and they think that's it. Halong Bay is actually a cluster of 1,200 islands. So there are hundreds and hundreds of islands in Halong Bay. So when we take you there, we're going to take you to lots of different islands along the way. You're going to stop off at beach. There's a few beaches that we stop off at, a couple of viewpoints you get to see. So Halong Bay is a very, very different place than just actually what you see from those 5 kind of pictures. Now, the ship we use, very, very, it's a beautiful ship. The food on board is fantastic, very, very fresh. And it's just a really relaxing tour on Halong Bay. I can't stress. I mean, we look at these pictures, and I'm sure Darryl will agree with me here.
Yeah, stunning.
The pictures, some of these places we go into the world just can't be put into words in a picture. It's just Halong Bay is something else. The pictures look fantastic, but once you're there, it's out of this world. It really, really is.
It looks unbelievably stunning. And then the rise early in the morning for a beautiful sunrise over the bay. Then return to Hanoi after brunch on deck and enjoy the afternoon at leisure. And then, of course, the sad thing, of course, is that you do get to day 12.
And then we have to fly home, unfortunately.
But
what I will say, when you're on Halong Bay as well, we've got on board, they usually have yoga classes, so you can take part in a yoga class on board. And a lot of people, when you're on Halong Bay, there's seats all the way along the top. So most people spend most of the evening just sitting on board up deck, just having a drink. There's a lovely little bar on there. So having a drink, watching the sunset on Halong Bay is just, again, unbelievable. And then the sunrise the following morning. And then you have and then when you get back to the land, you have a Tai Chi class as well. So you get to actually experience a real Tai Chi class.
You're going to give it all that.
Get some nice relaxed hand signals and
I
fantastic.
think one of the things
says hello, by the way. Sorry, Dad. Katerina says hello.
Hi, Katerina.
And Christine says hello as well. Fantastic.
But one of the things Chris mentioned, and he mentioned it a couple of slides ago, but it's again, this is what we love working with Wendy Wu for one reason. It's all the attention to detail. It's taking them to those little places that tourists might necessarily miss if you were just doing it off your own back.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a money can't buy experience. No. So you get to see it through a local's eyes. That's one of the things that I do love. So obviously we've had Chris on before, and he talked about the China tour and where they go to on the Great Wall of China, and this is very similar on this particular tour. There's specific aspects of this tour you won't get on another tour with another company.
You really won't,
because of the attention to detail that they put in.
Just to go through very quickly what we talked about if you just joined us, Vietnam at a glance. Wow, it's just absolutely stunning. It's the date, the 24th of February. We got this wonderful it's solo exclusive tour, 24th of February 2026. You can see that itinerary. That's the map that shows you where you'll be going. We've talked all through it, but more importantly, this is the incredible deal, Darryl, that we have with Wendy Wu.
Yeah. Absolutely. So Pete, just a couple of things. So as the price, as you can see there, is £2,999. Okay, that's exclusive to us. We've been very fortunate. Wendy, we have given us an additional discount, and we've put some more money off it to get it down to that price. Second of all, if you can get that slide back up for me, Pete, because that's a really cool slide for me. So as we said, touring with guides and entry fees included, international flights. Now, one of the things, Chris, can you just elaborate a little bit from the flight side? Because obviously at the moment we're advertising that price based on London Heathrow, but regional flights are available 10 months before. The supplements apply, but if you can just kind of give our customers a bit of an idea how it works, that'd be much appreciated.
Yeah, so basically at the moment, obviously the way we price our tours, everything is from Heathrow, because if we were trying to price it from every airport in the country, we just wouldn't be able to give you an accurate price. So all of our tours are flying from Heathrow, but that doesn't mean, obviously, I know with Passion Cruises, you fly from all over the UK, which is the beauty of Passion Cruises. So we can fly from regional airports. So if you're up in Glasgow, we can fly from Glasgow. We can fly from Cardiff. We can fly Birmingham. The only difference would be is we'd need to look at what the connections were like and what airlines fly out from those destinations. Now, sometimes because of the costings of the flights, there may be a small supplement to fly from a different airline, to fly from a different airport. But if we have an allowance for our flights in our packages, and this is how we do it from Heathrow, if it comes within that allowance, there will be no supplement. So you could potentially fly from your local airport as long as it comes in within our allowance for our flights. Then you wouldn't pay a supplement. But if there is a small supplement, then we would need to pass that on to your customers.
And that's the number to call, folks. 029 2061 9961. It's a absolutely wonderful partnership. You can see Daryl, with behind you, Daryl, you got one or two awards, yeah?
Yeah, we've been very fortunate over the last few years since we set up the Holiday Forum to pick up many ATAS awards, which is basically for escorted touring, excuse me. And we've won the best in Wales for the last 3 years. So thank you to all the operators who voted, including, I'd like to think, Chris.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. But we all actually picked up, and this is a kind of massive achievement, Peter, but we actually won the best in the UK. So we went up against some of the biggest travel agents in the UK, and we actually scooped the award this year. So yeah, we're humbled. It's a massive thanks to all our members who've supported us throughout. Obviously, we are predominantly a cruise company, but we have got this land holiday forum that we started just nearly 5 years ago now. And like you say, we've picked up many accolades, but also we've grown. I mean, Steve's cruise forum last night, and you yourself, Pete, you're celebrating 50,000 members.
Yeah.
So that's an incredible achievement in itself.
Yeah.
On top of that, we've got another 16,000 in our solo holiday forum, and that's growing. So yeah, it's been an incredible journey. And if for people who don't know, the business kind of really accelerated during COVID, bizarrely. And like you say, we're in this place now and working with great tour operators. And just one of the things I want to emphasize, and there's a bit of a fun story, Pete, you won't know this, but the reason we've got a great relationship with Wendy Woo is not because we send many of our members on their incredible tours, but Wendy Woo's got twins. And our Luke, who works in our office, met Wendy. He's got twins, and they hit it off like a house on fire. So there you go.
Wow.
It's those incredible kind of little attention to detail, just meeting people. And that's why we've just kind of
I think that's certainly one of the
relationship.
Things. I mean, obviously, with Passion for Cruise, I think playing it down there, Daryl. I mean, these guys are fantastic. You know, we talk about attention to detail at Wendy Woo. The reason we work with Passion for Cruises is because their attention for detail, making sure things go right, and making sure they give the right people the right tour. You know, and the partnership works that way because we want to make sure that our customers are being looked after by the right agent as well. Which again, it's not just the case of we're partners because of the fact that, you know, they sell our products. You know, I would say that, you know, we're friends as well. So it's a great partnership there in that fact.
It really is personal service coming from both sides, folks.
100%.
Just to flick through, that is this incredible tour we talked about. That's painting a picture. We've painted that picture. Chris has really painted that picture beautifully. That is the incredible itinerary, folks.
Just on there, Pete, just when we're looking, I mean, I know when we talk about Vietnam, we talk about shopping. Now, just when you're in Hanoi, you're spending 2 nights in Hanoi, and you can actually get a suit handmade, fitted, tailored, and back to you in 24 hours. So if anyone wants to buy a suit when you're there, and I think everyone does when they go to Vietnam, there you go, Pete. You can get a tailored jacket for you, very, very good prices, and you can get it done in 24 hours, which is amazing.
Wow. Again, wonderful information. Thank you so much, Chris.
Huge.
This is the incredible deal. That is a deal exclusive to us. We are so proud of that deal. As Chris and Daryl talked about, great opportunity to extend the tour beforehand and afterwards, stop off flights, all kinds of things. Whatever question you have, give the guys a call. Yeah, give the Daryl, they're waiting for you. Give them a call on 029 2061 19961. You can email passionforcruises@gmail.com if you're not in the UK, because not everyone's always in the UK when we do these shows. We do go live all around the planet. So, Chris.
Yeah, so Peter, sorry, just before we finish up, 2 things. If someone watches this on playback now, don't forget our office is open tomorrow, which is Saturday, 9 till 5, and we're also open now on Sundays, 10 till 4. So huge for anybody who can't book before 7 o'clock tonight, but is thinking, oh, I've missed it, I'm not going to be able to book till Monday. Don't worry about that. We're open tomorrow, and we're open on Sunday as well.
Absolutely fantastic. Daryl, thank you so much as always with this absolutely stunning deal that we've been able to organise. And a massive thank you to Chris for Wendy Rue Tours for coming on and talking through everything. Thank you, obviously, to all the members who are watching. You know, we do appreciate every single one of you, really do. So, Daryl, thank you so much. Chris, again, thank you. We really appreciate your time and painting such a wonderful picture of this absolutely fantastic tour. We really do. Yeah. And Jessica says, yes, absolutely. Love hearts all everywhere. Thanks, folks. Really appreciate you watching. And if you're ready for this, Daryl and the team are ready to take your calls right now. Thanks,
We
folks.
look forward to it.
Bye.
Thanks, Peter. Cheers, Daryl. Take care.